back with another celebration of great Star Trek stuff. I'm still getting comments about episodes I've missed on my best of lists, so here are 5 more great Star Trek episodes. Number 1, The Drumhead. After Measure of a Man, this is probably the most commonly mentioned best TNG episode which didn't make it onto my list. Following an apparent sabotage attempt aboard the Enterprise, a tribunal is set up to determine who aboard the Enterprise may be working for Romulan conspirators. This is one of those episodes which will always remain relevant whatever time period it's watched in. Seeing Picard become more and more unsettled by the disturbing effects of the investigation and how freedoms are trampled on is just as horrifying for the audience. Spencer Garrett gives a fantastic performance as medical officer Simon Tarses, instilling a sense of empathy in an incredibly short amount of time, and the abuses of power, inherent prejudices, and innate paranoia perfectly acts as the driving force for the themes of the episode. But while the themes of the episode are brilliantly explored, what really makes it memorable is the dynamic between Picard and the investigation leader, Nora Satie. Jean Merrill Simmons gives an outstanding performance in the episode. There are few true thespians who can match wits with Patrick Stewart, but Simmons does so effortlessly. The breakdown of their relationship, which begins as mutual admiration and descends into ideological enemies, ends in an amazing climactic clash where Picard delivers probably his most quoted speech ever. Whether it be the Red Scare or the Patriot Act, the messages of the Drumhead should always be in people's minds. Number 2, Arena. This is really a classic of the original series, but while its obviousness convinced me to leave it off the original list, it's still a great Star Trek yarn. When Cestus 3 is destroyed by an unknown alien force, Kirk's pursuit of the attackers leads him into single combat against his enemy, orchestrated by an advanced intelligence. While yes, the Gorn suit and the slow-mo fighting scenes dates the episode a lot, the story throughout is still hugely compelling. The pitched artillery battle is gritty and tense, the pursuit of the Gorn ship evokes the same submarine warfare tension as Balance of Terror, and the larger battle of wits between Kirk and the Gorn is genuinely exciting. Yeah, the first punch-up is a bit goofy, but the design of the Gorn itself and the game of evasion as Kirk attempts to think his way out of the situation he's found himself in is instantly iconic and memorable. It's basically a great all-rounder adventure for Star Trek. We get some thrills and some action, some nice character clashes surrounding Kirk's obsession with getting even, some strange new life and new worlds, not to mention a healthy moral lesson for the end. Arena is just quintessential Star Trek. Number 3, the Galileo 7. And now something a bit more specialised in the original series. Spock, McCoy, Scotty, and a handful of others crash land on a desolate world before the Enterprise is to depart in order to deliver medical supplies to a Federation colony. The stranded shuttle crew soon find themselves conflicting with Spock's logical mind as they struggle to survive. Gene Roddenberry famously had a mandate in TNG in which no main characters should ever clash with one another, which is strange considering acting against that idea gave us this great episode. The fight against indigenous big woolly monsters is fun enough, but it's the constant clashes against Spock's seeming lack of empathy which provides fantastic character development for the fan favourite character. Even the usually dispensable red shirts are given enough distinctive personalities and development for the audience to be similarly irked when Spock fails to acknowledge their loss. Yet at the same time, making hard choices so effectively demonstrates his capabilities as a commander, and the use of his logic therein, only for our assumptions to be subverted later on when he chooses to bet the lives of his shipmates on a risky manoeuvre. So many little moments in which we catch a glimpse of the inner workings of such a well-written and well-acted character. Number 4, Borg. The Enterprise encounters a crashed Borg ship with one survivor. When Dr. Crusher chooses to treat him, an opportunity is presented to cripple the entire Borg race. But as the drone reasserts his individuality, the Enterprise crew are forced to unexpectedly confront the moral ramifications of their plan. While Voyager did have some good Borg-centric episodes, their encounters with the Collective had a habit of removing a lot of their mystery and menace. TNG, on the other hand, was able to preserve both, while also finding ways to generate interesting story ideas from Starfleet's greatest foe. Jonathan Del Arco's performance is what drives the episode, as he slowly drifts from the Collective, becoming more of an individual as time goes by, and the effects this has on the main cast are wonderfully written and acted. It's almost like a conveyor belt of change, as the character is determined to hate the Borg, find their curiosity and empathy overpowering their innate fears to really connect with 3 of 5, or Hugh as he comes to be called. The best scenes without a doubt being Guinan and Picard's almost interrogation-like meetings with him, and as the Enterprise crew deals with the ramifications of the decision later on in the series, Borg becomes even better in retrospect. Number 5, Hard Time. There are two characters I forgot to cover in detail during my Deep Space Nine review, and people will not let me forget it. Garak and Chief O'Brien, who I really do like. O'Brien is wrongly convicted of a crime on an alien world where memory implants are used instead of physical incarceration. In a matter of hours, O'Brien experiences over 20 years of imprisonment, and is haunted by what happened when he returns to the station. The great appeal of O'Brien as a character is that more than any other Trek character, he really felt like a normal guy caught up in the extraordinary. Yes, he's a great engineer, but it's his blue-collar, get-your-hands-dirty lack of finesse and his down-to-earth personality which makes him so likeable. So to see him put through something so traumatic results in a depiction of that trauma which feels just as real. Deep Space Nine always had a darker edge than other Trek shows, and its willingness to go head-first into some truly tough subject matter resulted in some brilliant stories, and this is no exception. The unravelling of O'Brien's life, accompanied by flashbacks to the simulated prison time, provides viewers with a hard-to-watch at times episode, but one which is incredibly rewarding in the long term. So there are 5 more great Star Trek episodes for you. If you have any more which I still haven't mentioned across all my Star Trek videos, then feel free to comment down below. If you like my videos, you can see them up to a week early by joining me on my Patreon for just $5 a month. Until next time, have a good one guys, and as always, live long and prosper.